Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus here again, spokesman and advocate of basic human rights, running as an independent for the United States Senate from the state of Minnesota. Today, earlier, I was at a public gathering and I was making a presentation. And I kept feeling some anxiety, feeling some fear, a little uneasiness. I guess it's because I took a note or two just to refer to them for certain things that I did not want to leave out, and yet not having that much time to, to take or to make that presentation for the occasion. But what I basically wanted to say to them is the same thing that I would say to you today. I want to be the senator of the state of Minnesota as an independent, not a Republican, because a Republican, they are not kind enough, they are not loving enough. Not as a Democrat, because they also are not kind enough, they are not loving enough. And the independents and all those other parties together, I do not want to be a part of that, because they too are not kind enough, they are not loving enough. And so what I attach myself to must be loving enough for Republicans and Democrats and everybody else that's out there with some connection, having an expression of a desire or want. And that I am connected with is the Creator. I look at God as the power, and that this whole thing is God's show. And I'm just a character in it, as you are, except I know I'm a character. And so I'm listening to the Spirit of God to tell you what God wants you to know. And God wants you to know that you have been through hell, that you've been lied to, you've been abused, you've been exploited, and the evidence of it is all around you. And God, being God, wants to do something different for you. And basically, God says that all of your debts should be eliminated. That includes those of you who have homes or houses, your mortgages should totally be cleared. You shouldn't have that to worry about. Those of you who have loans for automobiles and other items, those should be wiped out. Educational loans, cleared out. Healthcare, cleared out. All of that should just be wiped off the slate. And this is what God is willing to do for you. But more than that, God is willing to open the door so that every last Republican, every last Democrat, every last other can receive and reap into this wonderful new future that God is sharing with you today. And every last one of you who will benefit from it should, I say, and God says by way of the Spirit, should participate in the creative process thereof. In other words, everybody that's going to be enjoying this wonderful life should have a job. But God is different than you and I. God is different than man. So God wants to assure you that the job that you have will be one of your own choosing. It will be a career of your own choosing. And what that is supposed to do is to allow you to choose a job that gives you the greatest pleasure in doing, the greatest joy in doing, the kind of service that you don't have to ever be encouraged to do. In other words, you're willing to do more. And as you do that, all of the different things that all of you individuals do that are so different, they are all tied into the one thing that God has fixed. And that is that the material resources, the goods and services that will meet your needs, that will meet your wants, that will meet your desires, will be there available to you, because each of you played a hand in that process. And my friends, in so doing like this, It belongs to you. And what belongs to you, you don't have to buy. In other words, you don't need money. You don't need debt. You don't need loans and fees. You don't need any taxes. You don't need the institutions that go along with that. So right away, you are freed of all of that. And ladies and gentlemen, when you have done this, this allows you to be free, to have peace in your societies, to be prosperous and joyous in your living. And there will be no need, as you have already guessed, for lying, for cheating, for stealing, for killing, for terrorizing, for war. None whatsoever. This, my friends, comes from doing it God's way. Now, there is a question. Will you do it God's way? Some of you might ask, how do you know if you're doing it God's way? Well, I'll tell you this. God's way was established a long time ago. I think it was called, in fact, I know it was called the Golden Rule. To reflect and respond in a positive light to the Golden Rule, in essence, what you're saying is that you respect and you honor God. You honor God by honoring God's creation. And as you are connected to God and connected to one another, what comes out to and fro is godliness. Now, I know many of us have come up in some ways that we just think that godliness is no fun. I want to tell you by experience, ladies and gentlemen, there is no joy like the joy that comes because of practicing God's principles. There is no, for the sake of a lack of understanding across the board, I'm going to say it like this. There is no sexual gratification as mountainous as that which is the product of your reflection in God. So I'm saying basically, ladies and gentlemen, this is why I'm running to be senator of the state of Minnesota. Sure, I know there's a different agenda, but my agenda is to change. My agenda is to produce. My agenda is to allow you, the people, to make a change in the system. The system that we live under today, the system that we live in today, is designed to do exactly what it is doing. It was doing it in the beginning, in the middle, and it's doing it now. And as long as it is maintained, it will be jumping from one thing that has happened before to another thing. It cannot do what God can do. And so, my friends, why do I say that? I say this because in that exploitation, you have been tricked to not practice the Golden Rule. You have been tricked to believe that if you take the bait off the hook, that you can do what you want and it doesn't matter what other people do. They can rise or float. It doesn't matter to you according to the current system. But then, that's why we have the filth, what they call it, the swamp that we have. Ladies and gentlemen, you might be asking, what are my credentials? I'm not going to take time to tell you my credentials during this process. I'll tell you that they are on the videos of YouTube and Facebook. You can check them out. I don't have anything to hide, or if there is, I told you anyway. So, on the other hand, you might want to know what else you got to do. Well, when I take an office, they will give me an oath that's saying I'm going to uphold the Constitution. But I'm going to focus in on those portions that deals with what we have been discussing here, what I have been sharing with you here, offering the opportunity for things to change. And these changes will be made according to the truth according to the spirit of love. And you will be the ones that's making the necessary action to carry it forward. You are the ones who will guarantee to one another that you will be treated and you will treat like God is in you. You are the ones, my friends, who will enjoy this new world, who will be building this new world, because having allowed that wonderful love to come and live in you, and all of it comes together, is nothing but a body expression of God and God's love. So I just want you to know that's why I'm running for the senator of the state of Minnesota. But I also want you to know that I will be using this as a platform so I can preach throughout this nation what I just got through sharing with you. I will use this senator office so I can speak to this nation about a change, a new system, a system that gives them the joy of their life. This is what I will be talking about. And hopefully by the time 220 comes along, you will make me president. Not that I want to be president, but I want to make sure that I'm now able to speak more than just the nation. I want to speak to the world and tell them about this wonderful love of God that takes away the need for lying and cheating and corruption and murder and all that filthy stuff. I want them to know about a God so when you get sick, not only do you have the health care that the researchers and those who perfect medicine haven't given it their best shot to make sure that whatever you got, get out of there with no other dangers threatened. Not a treatment, this is a cure. We want cures. And in order to get cures, we have to take out that money thing that says as long as you keep on playing games, the more money you can make. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, this is a sweet thing. A very, very sweet thing. Now, I have said, I think, as much as I need to say on this. And so if you are more interested and need details, go to YouTube by Eddie Marcus, go to Facebook, Eddie Marcus, and I got probably 1,000 videos of speaking on every subject. So just look in there. I want you to know more about me in a week than you know about your senator if he's been there 40 years. I ain't ashamed. I can't do anything without the Spirit of God. I got nothing to offer to you. And if you turn your back on it, you're not hurting God. I feel a little pain because I'm down here with you. And as long as you hurting, I'm going to be hurting. So I want you to do something about it. But it is in your hands. Everything that I shared with you, God has fixed it. So it will be in our hands. Say it one more time. Everything that I have shared with you, God has fixed it, so it will be in our hands. The raw materials are there. The skills and the ingenuity is here. All we have to do is pull off the hate, pull off the bigotry, pull off the racism, pull off that ugliness, and treat each other as we are instruments of God. All right? Until next time, go to the polls and write my name in. It will not be on the ballot. Write it in. Now, one thing about it, those who know God and hears this message, they will go to the polls and write my name in it. Those who think they know God, who have gone through some changes, many of them will go to the polls and write my name in. Others won't. Because the truth of the matter is, Republicans and Democrats alike, unless you are suffering so bad, or unless God is in your life so real, these other people still trust in money. They trust in Republicans, they trust in Democrats, they trust in money, 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 money. That's their God. And we cannot get mad with them, but we don't have to support them in their standing up. What we do is support what the truth is and stand up for truth. Otherwise, these people who are in love with money, who are easily misled and hate and all that kind of stuff, they need you and I to stand for something that's much better than that they are. Until that happens, they think they got it going on. And when you sit back and don't do nothing, you're saying to them, you got it going on or you don't care. And for those of you who just try to say, well, you can toe this hole just like everybody else, you have already proved their worth. So keep this in mind and consider your own fate. Let me see that. Is there anything else I should share with you? I think that'll do it for now. Bye-bye.